Lol. I'm not keeping that in.
It's okay. It was funny. It was funny.
I'll leave it in.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess
Welcome
back to the TAE Time Podcast.
Podcast.
I hope everyone's good. I hope everyone's keeping well, taking care of themselves.
I love that you always open our podcast with that. Just wishing well.
Yeah.
Whoever's listening, that's very nice.
Like they're
Very
sorry,
demure.
guys. They're taking time out of their day.
Very
to listen
mindful.
To us.
Sorry.
It is very demure, very mindful. They're taking time out of their day to come and listen to us, so we might as well, care about them too.
That's right.
So yeah. Don't mind if you're watching the video and you see like my hair is wet and water running on my face. I washed my hair today. It was a wash
And I didn't want to dry it properly.
Yeah, so to keep the volume there, so not too much shrinkage. So yeah, that's why it's dripping. Dripping.
What's your weekly stand-up?
I was about to ask you. Come on, I will go first. You go first.
Me. My weekly stand-up is that we went to Apple Butter Cafe.
We waited 50 minutes in the queue.
We waited almost an hour for the queue. It's a very popular place.
TikTok, guys.
Of course.
TikTok, of course.
I mean, that's where I came across. I think, and I saw a TikTok of someone talking about how if they use TikTok for looking for restaurants. Someone said that to us.
I should use. You know what? I feel like I need to start using TikTok to find out restaurants I shouldn't go to so I can avoid lines.
No. I think TikTok is so good for telling you what's around.
Yeah, but so is YouTube. It's just that TikTok is faster because people don't have the attention span, so they don't want to see. Because in YouTube, they'll give you a bunch of places in one video, and they'll rate it and talk about it properly. Whereas TikTok is okay, this is the name. It has a lot of likes, a lot of views. This is the place I go.
No, yeah, but say you are in the central of Bucharest.
Yeah.
And you're now
Quickly,
where should we go?
Yeah.
And you're let me pull up a YouTube 10-minute video of the places to go to. And it's just not ideal. I think if you're planning a trip, YouTube is a good place to go to see it all out.
I agree.
But TikTok is great, especially because there's a comment section, people are there, and it's visual. It's not like I'm looking it up on reviews and it's coming up this place and whatever. So it's great. It's visual. You can see it. The people are speaking. Anyway, we went to Apple Butter. We waited it was a halal place. We waited about an hour in the queue outside. I was kind of about waiting, and then Farouk was like, did you forget that in Japan
we waited 2-3 hour queues?
And we were yeah, we'll just wait here. Yeah. So we waited.
Quick side note, if you go to Japan and you want Ichiran and you don't want to wait for the queues, go to the Ichiran no pork. There's less queues there.
Well, most people probably do. Also, the restaurant we went to, no pork, did have a queue.
No, it did have a queue, but nowhere near as long as Ichiran itself. Yeah. That's assuming you want to try Ichiran, everyone was oh, you can just avoid Ichiran. It's not that good. It's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. But I can understand why people are oh, there's so many equally as good ramen in Japan that you can just go to, and that's all over the place. That's quiet,
I think it's just the appeal of how different it is of a restaurant.
But a lot of ramen restaurants are like that. You just sit down on your own little stool and
I don't know. Food. It's just very
more quaint.
Yeah.
But
Instagrammable.
The best ramen I've ever had is that mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
Just small little.
Or do you know that other place that we went to that was halal? The spicy ramen?
Yeah. That was very good.
That was very good.
That was very good. Yeah.
Anyways, we went to Apple Butter. And guys, it was very, very good. You got a vol au vent. He loves vol au vents.
I love vol au vents.
And he was oh my God, it's a big vol au vent. It must be so...
it's guys, it's a vol au vent times 2, times 3. Oh my God, that's even better, I was disappointed.
I loved it. It was great. Yeah. But Farouk is not a big fan of the taste of truffle.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's overpowering.
It was great. And I got the...
Also, I felt because it was a big vol au vent, the bread wasn't as tasty.
I liked it. But they didn't use a regular
vol au vent
pastry. They used a different type of pastry.
Yeah, because it's bigger. Yeah. But note to self, keep your vol au vents nice and small. It keeps the perfection.
So I got this slow cooked beef thing. We ended up swapping dishes.
Yes.
I liked them both anyway.
I liked.
And then we got this Wagyu hummus that was very nice.
It's very good.
Very good.
It's very good.
And then one of the ladies working, I don't know who she was, but she was so nice to us.
Yeah, she was really nice.
She like coming
because
up.
when Nicola and I go out, and this is something you should be doing, not because of maybe properly free food, but like you should be doing it in general. Like stack the plates when you're done, like you know, to make it easier.
Common courtesy.
Yeah, but a lot of people, most people don't do that.
Yeah.
Like I always look around, and most people don't do that. Just stack the plates when you're done, so it's
Yeah.
easier for the workers to like take it instead of having to like, them stack it themselves or have to come back multiple times to grab whatever. Just stack it for them and be
especially
kind.
if it's such a busy place. Like
Yeah.
if you want to help a little bit,
Yeah, and so she was like,
leave
"Oh
a
my
little
God."
tip as well.
She's like, "You guys want free pancakes?" Because
I didn't
like,
hear the word free.
Yeah, she said free. It's like, "Oh, do you guys want some free pancakes or something? Like, you guys are great." Which tells me people in there must not be doing anything.
So anyway, it was great. I think it was worth the wait. If I was hungry on the go, I probably wouldn't go for the wait.
Oh yeah, 15-minute wait. Yeah.
But it was great. What's your weekly stand up?
My weekly stand up is, funny enough, it's anime related. I've been watching a few more animes there recently. That just been really good. Shout out to Dan. The episodes have been really amazing. I actually showed Nicoletta, for anyone who was watching it, just showed her episode 7 about the ballerina and her backstory. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but you should have seen it by now. Seeing as episode 8 has already came out and episode 9 is about to come out. But yeah, very good. Very, very good. And I've been watching The Aristocrat, like Reincarnated as Aristocrat or whatever. It's so good. I've been loving seeing Ars's growth now as a character and everything's going on. And there's just been a lot of anime. I have to start Dragon Ball Daima. I have to start that one. It's the new Dragon Ball anime, and I really want to start it, but I haven't started it. And still have to watch Arcane season 2. I want, because 23rd is when all the episodes the remaining last 3 episodes were released. So I want to watch it all in one go. Just stack it. Might get, I don't know. I was thinking Nicoletta still hasn't watched the first season. I might get her to watch the first season, then we can watch the second season together. But we'll see. I'll give you an update on that, whether I do it or not. But a lot of good. Watching the Tomb Raider Lara Croft anime cartoon. I guess it's cartoon on anime. So good. Mm-hmm. So good.
Is it a movie?
No, it's a show. Okay. It's 8 episodes, and what's it called? If you like Castlevania, the series, the animated series, you're gonna love this one. Fun fact: the voice of one of the characters is also voicing a character in this one as well. Ooh. Just saying.
Who?
Just saying. I'm not gonna say the name. You guys can go figure it out for yourselves. The moment I heard his voice, instantly I was like, "Oh, you!" You know the meme of Leon.
I know you.
I know you straight away. When I heard his voice, I was like, yes, because I love Castlevania. I'm so looking forward for the second season of Castlevania Nocturnal to come out. Like, this series has me in a chokehold. Honestly, one of the best animated series out there. Like, honestly, up there with Cyberpunk Edgerunners, up there with so many great, even the Arcane. Honestly, I love the Castlevania series. Some people love Arcane more than love the Castlevania series. I love the fucking Castlevania series. Like, I love it. I just love that whole lore, that whole thing. I even be teaching Nicoletta about her own past of, Romania, because it's all set in the Romanian region. Well, it's not Romania, but what it used to be in Dahia, So all that stuff. So so good, love it, amazing, yeah. But yeah, that's me. That's been my thing.
Okay, we're about to go to an unrelated direction to both our stand-ups. I know we talk a lot about relationships, obviously, in this,
like too much, guys. I know you guys are sick of it now.
And this is another, obviously, relationship episode.
We're 3 for 3.
Come back next week.
Well,
something different, possibly, potentially.
Yeah. Don't worry, I have plans. I've kind of discussed them a little bit with Nicoletta, but I have plans for a little game show type thing where we will be asking question answers, but it won't just be us related. But I'm going to keep that shh.
Okay, so the title that we have today is, and you can guess what this is, okay? You can guess. Okay. It's called, Are We Forcing It?
Ooh. So it's like, are you forcing certain parts of whatever? It's like, this should just be done or not.
Yeah, so I have some short little stories.
Ooh.
Not even stories, but it's like this happened to me. Scenarios, right?
Yeah.
And it's like we have to decide if like it's a red flag for them to stay or not. Like, are they like forcing the relationship or not?
All right.
Okay. First, confession. We've dying here. Sorry.
Yeah, even me, guys. My throat's and I even drank water before this because I was parched.
Okay, we've been dating for 1 year, and I just found out that they have a child from a previous relationship.
But like, did they ask?
We've been dating for a year. Do you not think that disclosing that you have a kid is like
Let me ask you a question. I do think it's bad. I think it is bad just putting it out there right now. But I guess it depends on like for the 1 year dating, whatever. Is it pure dating or is there like talking stage included?
No, dating.
Okay, then yeah, it's bad. Because if it's talking stage, I don't think. Sorry guys, I got distracted. I can literally see a plane just like chilling on the sky.
He said, "Oh look, a plane."
Yeah. If it's talking stage / situationship, I don't think that's to come up. But obviously, when it's dating, I think you should talk about it before you think. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, I have kids. Mm-hmm. I think you should talk about it. You should reveal that. Yes, that is information that is very key. I understand, like, you might feel a little bit of stigma, but it's because the fact that you might feel a little bit of stigma is why you should say it. Yeah. You know, like, there's certain things like, oh, hey, I have an STI.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
No, I agree.
You know, like, yeah.
What if they're not in contact with the child or the mother at all?
Then that makes it even. You can just be like, oh, yeah, but I have a kid, but I don't ever see the kid.
No, but would you just close it?
Like, you never see the kid. Ever. Like, you don't even, then technically you don't have a kid. If you don't ever see the kid and you don't talk to the mom or you don't give a shit about the kid's whereabouts, then technically you don't have a kid, as far as I see it.
That's so crazy to me
but I think it says a lot about you as a person.
Exactly.
And I would want to know it, so I'd be like, you stay away from my life.
You have a child and you want nothing to do with your child.
I cannot be with you, personally. No. That is.
So I think it's even harder than, it's like, I'd want it even more disclosed.
What I'm saying, in that situation, you actually don't have to disclose it, because as far as that kid doesn't exist for you.
But imagine you're now dating, like, I don't know, 10 years, and you're finding out.
Oh, yeah, as a kid.
I've known you.
There's so many stories.
No, but I've known you as like a completely different person. And now, like, this can literally alter the way I view you as a person.
Yeah, that's what I was literally about to ask you. Like, how does that affect you? And like, because if they are who they are with you for 10 years, it's not like they're faking it. That's who they are.
Yeah.
So does their past mistakes or misgrievances affect who they are now as a person?
Yeah, I think so. And I think so because there's obviously levels. Like, it's not like, oh, I stole something once. Okay.
Yeah.
I think if it's like, I don't know, like, I have a child from a past. That's a huge thing. I killed someone, perhaps, maybe. I don't know, molested someone.
Oh yeah,
it's just like so many different things that like would completely alter my image of you.
But it does not say a lot about humans. Isn't like someone you could be with someone for like 20, 30 years. You know them for who they are, and like because people change, right? So you're seeing them as the current self in them, but then you're gonna judge their current self based on something so long ago. So not kind of unfair.
But it's such a big thing.
But it's kind of unfair as well at the same time, don't you think?
No.
I think it's actually quite unfair.
I don't think so.
I think if we've been together for 20 years and let's say it comes up that I made a mistake in my past, right? And
like you molested a child.
I'm not talking about that one. That one is crazy.
No, but I want to go the most extreme.
No.
Level.
Life is grace. Let's be honest. The more time you're not going around with those people, they're not even coming with you. They want children anyway. But no. So like it's like a situation of like I was a criminal. I was a whatever, but I've changed. Like that shouldn't affect who they are now.
Well, what kind of criminal? Like when you say criminal,
it doesn't matter.
No, it does because someone like say that bought drugs or whatever went to jail. That's a different criminal. Someone who killed someone.
Okay, someone who killed someone intentionally.
Oh.
Yeah, like they killed someone intentionally.
You want me
but
to just forgive?
they let's say they sought God. You know,
Oh God.
like you know
They always do.
they found God. They got better, and then you're with them, and you're religious too, right? You have in that situation, if you're obviously, I know you're not that religious, so it's like not the, but like let's say in that situation, like you're a religious person too, and they're also religious now, and it's been 30 years, right? Let's say they killed someone when they were like 15, so they're 45 now, right? They found God, they've been very pious for the last 30 years together, you know. Well, let's say actually 5 years, 20, so like they're 50 years old, okay? So they found God, whatever, and then they're a better person, they pious, whatever. And then you find out at 50 years old, by the way, when I was 15, I killed someone. Obviously, I sought forgiveness. I overcame and whatever, and then we met at 20, right? I think that's okay because if you go and judge them based off that, that's crazy as a religious person, one, because like God forgives everybody, apparently, you know?
Apparently.
So, like...
But I don't, because I ain't God.
You know? So you can't be judging. And then two, it's like, yo, this person has been a different person for 30 years. Like, this is who they are now. Genuinely, like, it's not like they were hiding a characteristic trait or anything like that. This is genuinely who they've been for the last 30 years. You know, this is something that they wrongfully did in their past, and it was a mistake, and they got over it, and they became better. So why would we judge them off their past misgrievances?
Yeah. So here's why I would judge based off their past misgrievances. So, firstly, I'm not God, obviously.
Yeah.
For me, I think I would feel like all of a sudden I would start to analyze everything that they do, that they've done, even though they've been completely different. And that would make it so hard for me to move forward with the relationship, because as hard as as the right thing is to like forgive and forget and whatever.
But they weren't lying to you.
But they could kill someone again. And it could be me.
No, because they weren't lying to you about their personality. They were genuinely that person. They were truthfully, genuinely that person the whole time. They weren't putting on a characteristic. They weren't putting on anything. This is truly who they became.
And that's great, but I don't want to be with a murderer.
That's so unfair.
It's
so unfair.
I don't know about that.
It's unfair. I think it's very unfair.
I don't think so.
I think it's truly unfair.
I think someone who doesn't want to date a serial cheater or someone who cheated before is the same as I don't want to date someone who murdered before. I also think that's unfair. Like if someone
was, let's say, a cheater in the past when they were younger, and then eventually got over that and they've been consistent with you, and you find out later on that they were a serial cheater, why would that shouldn't affect who you are with them? Because you're like, okay, they were like this, but they haven't been like this together.
Well, I don't know that.
I mean, like, honestly, like, they actually haven't cheated on you.
But
like,
I don't know that. Like, in my head, they have now cheated on me. If I just found out, they have cheated on me so many times. And if I find out they're a murderer, they have probably murdered while we were together.
Humans, huh?
And I might have helped him get away.
Humans, huh? Damn, it's so unfair. Like, people are out here trying to change, become better people, but you still get judged on your past.
Yeah.
It's like taking, for example, like criminals. I know we're so off topic here, but like take criminals who come out, and whether it's like for little things or big crimes, they come back into society. The whole point of prison, like obviously not in America with those scumbags, but the whole point of prison is to rehabilitate people, right? Essentially, it's meant to rehabilitate people. So the idea is like they come out and now they're rehabilitated, they're better, and they're trying to go into the workforce, but then they can't get jobs because of criminal history or whatever. But like it's like, why? Like the whole point is they served their time and they got better. That's the goal. That's the hope. You know.
Yeah.
So we should be welcoming them back into society with open arms, you know? Like, I'm not saying the person or whatever situation they might have affected or whatever but overall, like, society as a whole should be accepting these people back. But people don't. Like, they have a hard time getting jobs, they end up on the streets, stuff like that. It's really not fair. And it's really, like, judging people based off prior things. Like, people make mistakes in their lives and people can get better from those mistakes.
But you hear of that guy who came out of... You heard of the guy?
I was when I told you the story.
The guy who came out of prison and then just like killed like what, 2-3 people?
No. What happened was he essayed. He went to the prison for essaying, and then on the day he was released, he essayed again. But once again, sorry guys. He wasn't let out for what's called, like, he didn't serve his time. It was part of the whole UK thing where their prisons were overrun, so they're just letting people out at random. So, like,
Look,
the ones, the guys that
all
got
I'm
let it out
saying is,
early.
if you want their rights to be whatever, bring it up with your government, okay? That's fine. I think there are certain, like, things that I'd find difficult to...
So you believe there are certain things that are unforgivable? Because essentially that's
no,
what you're saying.
Hold on, because, like, I
Oh, so are you separating the difference between forgiving and wanting?
Yeah, like, I could forgive you, and, like, I could even, like, have, like, a friendship with you, and I wouldn't judge you based off your past. But, like, you know when you have, like, an intimate relationship with someone, and they're in your life, like, in your house all the time, whatever.
Isn't that intimate with your friends as well? They're in your life all the time, or whatever.
I don't know. Perhaps we'll just be, like, acquaintances.
Not fair. Go on. It's not fair though, but yeah.
Okay, well, if you want to be friends with the kid fiddlers, that's what you...
Not those ones, guys, please. I don't want to be friends with those guys. I'm talking about people who actually make genuine mistakes in their life.
They're the only ones I can think about. Unless it was an accidental. Like, if it was, like...
Accidental kiddo fiddle?
No. No.
I was like, what?
No, an accidental,
like
what
manslaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
But if it was, like, cold-blooded, like, I took a knife.
Okay, but how about if it's because someone diddled their kid or diddled their sister or something, and then they went and killed that person?
Yeah, that's forgivable.
Yeah.
Maybe there's stipulations. Okay, on to the next one. Would you even answer that? Are they forcing it? I forgot what even the story was. Finding out that they have a kid. I was like, find out they're murderer? That doesn't sound right.
No. Yeah, a year is way too much.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I gave him an ultimatum. Propose by the end of the year or we're done. Now he's looking for rings, but I can't tell if it's because they want to or because I pushed them.
You pushed them. Like, if you're, like, even if they were, let's say he was already planning to propose by the end of the year, and then you gave that, it's automatically push. Because it nullifies the act of the surprise or the act of want, you know? It becomes like a request at that stage.
Okay.
I don't like the idea of people being like, when are you going to propose me? I don't like that.
Yeah.
As in, we should do it at our own time.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get proposed to, go propose to them.
Oh. He said what he said.
I said what I said. Like, if you want to be engaged and you want to be married, go propose to them instead. Like, you can propose to.
Yeah.
Like, we're in 2024.
Yeah.
In the 21st century. You don't have to wait.
Yeah.
You can propose too. If you want, because if you want engagement because you want marriage, right? There's two things you do. You either talk about it and be like, hey, I think this is pretty cool because I want to be with you forever. And then you guys you talk about it. Or if you really want it and you're like, because of the act of proposing, it sounds more like you like, then you go propose to them. But if you don't want to do either of those things, it sounds more like you want to get engaged to rather than it has to do with the person.
But so anyway, if someone gave someone an ultimatum for it and then they started doing it, is that forcing the relationship?
If there was no prior plans, yeah.
Okay. But you don't have to. Like, if you don't want to be with me, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like...
why are you doing it?
Because you asked me to.
But you don't want to.
Well, because sometimes it's like you don't want to lose the person. So you're like, you know, this is what's going to keep them. So you keep them. You get me? It makes sense. Like, it's like, I want to be with this person, but I didn't really think I wanted to get engaged, right? And so it's like, oh, but if I don't get engaged, I'm going to lose them. So I'm just going to go get engaged.
Damn. So they're forcing the relationship.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Aren't you happy you didn't have to do that? You didn't experience that?
Yeah.
I bet you a lot of people around you were like, oh my God, I can't believe it's like 9 years already and he still hasn't proposed. Like, what's wrong with him?
I know. I remember one time when we were going on some holiday together and my mom was like, maybe you should go get your nails done. And I was like, no. I don't want this to happen right now. I'm not ready. We're not ready. But I think that people can like, I understand why people get, like, some sort of way. Like, if you're, like, 30 and you've dated someone for 10 years and they haven't proposed and you want it.
But maybe,
like,
they're fine with that scenario. And that's why you have to talk about those things.
Exactly. Like, but what if you say you already had the discussion and he said, I will, and he hasn't, and it's been 5 years, and
then you revisit it and you be like, hey, what's stopping you? You don't go propose to me by the end of the year, we're done. You're like, hey, let's find out what's stopping it. Do you not want this? Do you not want this? Do you not think it's okay? Like, talk about it?
Yeah.
You don't go ultimatum. You go, hey, let's have a conversation about this like adults as to like why you don't want this and why I want it. We see if we can come to a middle ground. If we can't, we go our separate ways. Why are we forcing it, being like, oh, propose to me by the end of the year, and then it's like it might be forced. Whereas you can just separate at that point, assuming it's, or you find out their other perspective, and you find out they find your perspective, and then you guys meet somewhere in the middle. You know?
Interesting.
You won't know until you talk about it.
I got nothing else to say. Okay, on to the next one. They keep saying things like, I don't need to say I love you because you already know how I feel.
What do you think? Tell me what you think first. This scenario.
I feel sickened. That's how I feel for whoever poor person has to go through this. Especially as someone who loves words of affirmation.
Words.
I hate it. Like, I just don't understand why people can't voice how they feel about things.
So I think some people do find it a bit like nonsensical, or as like
they weren't
icky.
told that they're loved when they were little.
So I see it from the point of like sometimes like I feel weird like when Nicola loves like hugging up on me so much, right? Yeah. And it's because like growing up, I never really had that too much. Like, you know, whatever. Like we're never really like all cuddly, hugly, whatever growing up. So I feel like I'm not really used to it. You know, it's just a bit awkward for me. You know, and so when she like is all like cuddly, sometimes I'm just like, and I feel like that's the same thing with words of affirmation kind of thing. Whereas like some people like are not used to hearing those words growing up, and so it feels weird for them to say it.
Yeah.
But they generally do love the person. Yeah. They're just not really comfortable.
Yeah.
Or but used to saying it.
You mentioned an important thing about like what I just kind of said about, oh, you weren't told that as a kid.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, it's kind of, you know, trauma, I guess, that you're going through.
Well, it's not really trauma. It's just like,
but like you weren't
different
shown
ways.
love that way. You know?
Yeah, that like
you weren't shown love that
people
way.
tend to show love the way they
were shown love.
Yeah,
and I agree.
Which is funny because I had that conversation this morning with my dad. As in, like, my dad is a big acts of service guy. You know, because they watched the last episode. Yeah. Big acts of service guy, and that's where I got my like idea of like, you know, like doing this, doing that, doing whatever. So like. You just kind of show love the way you've seen love being shown.
But I mean, every kind of decision, life decision, everything is so based off our childhood environment and what we saw. But in saying that, I think not being open-minded to other love languages and stuff and why they're important to someone else it's not
the best, but I think it's more like I see it as in like if you as someone need that way of being shown and you then voice it to your partner, and then you kind of understand their perspective of like it might not be easy. Obviously, I'm not saying like, oh, you guys agree. No one's going to do it. I think it's like, hey, I'll try my best to do a little bit more, but like you have to be patient with me.
But that's what I'm saying. You just said that you're open-minded about it and willing to try. And that's what I said.
Yeah, but also at the same time, it's like, I can see where it can also go like, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think I'll be able to do it, but you know, I love you. I do love you. You know.
I don't think I could handle it.
Yeah, and that's where like the clashes of like love languages comes in, because like people might love each other, but
the thing is, right? My mom, for example, my parents, they're not I love you people.
Yeah.
They don't speak. They don't do the words of affirmation thing really. It's a lot more like showy, which that's why we had to talk about how I've been showed love through like physical affection, and I feel like if I don't get it back from you, it's like, you're not showing me that you love me, you know? And obviously, I appreciate that you are trying more and stuff. With the words of affirmation, it's not something I heard growing up, but I think I saw, like, I remember reading something one time, and it was about how, like, tell people that you love them while they're still around and while you're still around. And that, like, really stuck with me, you know, thinking of the finality of life, or, you know, whatever, and how important it is to, like, tell the people that you care about them and that you love them. And that really changed my whole perspective on the awkwardness of saying I love you, even to your friends, you know? No, like, I love everybody, like, that's close to me. And I don't think there's anything weird about saying it, but I think people get awkward, and the thing is, it's like, for me, it's like, why are people awkward about it? But I understand why they're awkward, but it's like, it's just words, you know?
Everyone's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's forced, personally.
Yeah. I do. I think I think saying a sentence like, I don't need to tell you I love you, you know how I feel, to me is like,
obviously, I feel like you should talk about it.
Yeah,
like, I think that's an immature way to approach a conversation. But I don't think it's forced if you do a conversation kind of thing. So,
I agree. Okay, on to the last one that we have here. So, they're always comparing our relationship to her best friend's relationship and pointing out all the gifts that he's getting her and experiences that they're having.
Go date him then. Go have the experience from him then. You and your friend, can you go share?
Yeah.
Go share the man. Go share him. That is literally, I would instantly break up with that person.
Yeah.
I could not. Luckily, I've never had that with Nicoletta. She's never compared our relationship to other people. She compares our relationship to our relationship and only argues within it. If someone compares me to other people, the finality of that relationship would be in that conversation.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't even, I wouldn't even want to even do an adult discussion of being like, this is why I don't like this. I would just be like, no.
That's it.
That's done. I could not deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm very much so like that. There's nothing I hate more than when people compare me to other people.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference between me.
Did you get compared to other people when you were young? And that's
why I hate it, growing up. Like, I compare myself to other people. I already do that for myself.
You have to deal with that by yourself.
You know, I already do that with myself. I don't want someone I'm meant to feel vulnerable with comparing me to other people all the time. You can call me out on bad habits, bad actions, but don't use other people as an example to show the good habits. You know, you tell me what you want. Even if you're using someone, right? Let's say, like, you think John over there is doing a really good thing. You wish I was doing that. Tell me you want that. Don't involve John.
Exactly.
You know?
Don't say, well, John does this for Mary all the time.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, freak, you don't do this, but I'd really like if you did this.
But I can't think of a single scenario in which being compared to a literal other person can ever end well.
No.
That can never end well. Like, the same as, you know, when you're young, it's like, look at your peers. Look at Mary's child. You know, and it's just like,
well, I'm not fucking Mary's child.
That can never end well. Like, that can only backfire. And especially with stubborn kids, like that especially. But as an adult, like as a full-grown adult, being compared to somebody else.
No, it's crazy.
It's like, what? So go be with them.
Yeah.
And I never deeped that in our relationship, because I have never seen someone's relationship and was like comparing us to them.
Yeah.
I've only picked up on good habits that they've done, and I'm like, oh, like maybe I should start doing this. Or, oh, I like that they go on dates to whatever. I like that they do this.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think I like the way they communicate. You know? But I don't think it's ever been like, fruit compared to some other man. It's never been like that. I've never felt the need to do that.
Absolutely would be an instant breakup. Absolutely. I actually wouldn't. I literally wouldn't even, like, I would not do the adult thing of like explaining it myself. I would literally just be like, this is done. And then they'd be like, oh my God, what would you mean? I'm like, no, the fact that you're willing, even comfortable to do this, it tells me so much about your character, and I don't want that in my life. Get the fuck out of my life.
I agree.
I'm not giving you the opportunity to change. Grow for someone else. Go change for someone else.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. Even though they're saying you should grow. No, you should grow. Because what do you mean compared to someone else? You're the problem.
You're the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I absolutely wouldn't take it.
That's a forced relationship.
Very forced. Very forced. Absolutely. The most forced of all forces.
Yeah.
You ended up on the perfect force. This is Force. Star Wars, the Force Awakens.
And if you're a parent watching this, never compare your kids.
No, I think that's fine.
Don't tell the kid.
I think it's fine.
Don't tell the kid. Oh my God, that can have such negative consequences.
Ew, it's so bad. Like, I would never do it. But I'm saying,
negative
like,
consequences.
growing up, it did motivate me, obviously. But, like, it's,
Some
once
people
again,
take it differently.
I still believe you should never use a personal example. You should always use the example as the thing, you know?
It's like, oh, you know.
But obviously, it's a little bit harder with kids because, like, you want them to do better. So it's like, hey, look at, like, the top people in your class, you know, she strive to be like them. I think that's what you should say.
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's like,
what are they doing
like,
to be at the top?
Like, what do you think they're doing? They're probably studying, they're doing this. You should be doing the same because you want to be in the same, category.
Or, there is a way to kind of approach it. Like, say, for example, we're classmates, right? And my mom wants to be like, she could be like, oh, Farouk's such a good student, like he's getting really good grades, you know, like maybe you should talk to him, like ask for like some advice or like what's he doing?
Yeah, exactly. Don't be like don't do it in a negative way of like it's like
I go look at him, why can't you be like him?
Yeah, use it as a positive.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with you.
Yeah. But that was all I had for you.
Yeah,
today.
no, that was good. That was good. Hope you guys enjoyed it, eh? I mean, you guys liked it. You know, like you guys are just really here to see us trash it anyway. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you. We'll see you again next week. Peace.